The SCoRE project is a pilot paid for by Climate East Midlands and run by the Carbon Trust. It stands for the School's Collaboration on Resource Efficiency, and it's 9 local authorities getting together, working with Carbon Trust to develop knowledge and capacity around energy saving within schools.
The schools are using a third of the energy for the whole authority, so clearly there's scope there for saving money. If we save energy, we don't pay as much in the carbon reduction commitment, which is on top of your soaring energy prices. And the target we're broadly setting is, can we get our schools to reduce their energy bills by a quarter in the next 4 years?
We've used a number of different methodologies, which are workshops, guides and toolkits, which help the councils and the schools to develop a business case for future investment.
The aim of SCoRE in Nottingham was to help 12 pilot schools to reduce their energy bills and carbon footprint through simple changes in behaviour. The programme was launched with an interactive event to introduce the 3 main areas we have worked on: whole school approach to practical energy savings, monitoring electricity usage by analysing automatic meter readings, otherwise known as AMR, taking control of your heating.
I felt it was important that this was one of those projects that I shouldn't be passing on to somebody else. Obviously, we do a lot of distributed leadership, we share a lot of things out, but sometimes things come along and you think, no, I want to remain closely involved with this, I want to get my hands dirty with it, and I felt that was important. I think it's true that people take slightly more notice of things where their head is personally involved. Maybe it shouldn't be that way, but I think it is. I think that's the reality. One of the things that underpinned the success of the project at this school was that we had a really strong team. Our school office manager came along, our site manager, Dave, one of our teachers who works very closely with the children on the eco team as well, and our capital projects manager in school.
We chose 2 classrooms to be the trial classrooms for active labelling. We went into the room and we were very lucky because all of the lights have individual switches, so we were able to turn some on and turn some off. We turned off all the lights that were by the window and took all the posters off the window so that the natural sunlight could come in. And once we'd done that, we took some sticky labels and we labelled the light switches so that the children knew which ones they could turn on and which ones they had to leave off.
We have stickers on our light switches. We have red, green and yellow. Red means we can't use it at all, green means we can use it, and yellow means use it when we need to.
We also made posters to explain what they mean, and the best ones were chosen to be put up by all light switches.
On our IT sockets we have blue stickers. Blue stickers mean we can turn it off when not in use.
Whenever I do something in SCoRE, I always like not to do it in isolation. It's really good to join it up with other areas of the curriculum. And as it happened, I was very lucky because it was children in need. And with the active labelling and putting spots on all our switches and sockets, it enabled me to think, Pudsey. So I designed a maths quiz, and it really worked well. They loved it. And who knows, in years to come, they may think, that was the day I did active labelling, and that reminded me about saving energy.
Because of active labelling, in a room like this, if we only have 4 lights on, we save about £240 a year.
Historically, one of the jobs that Ben Bamford, our site manager, used to do was to come in at 6, switch all the lights on in school. And some teachers possibly wouldn't be in until 8, possibly even 8:30. So we made the decision that he wouldn't switch the lights on, that he'd go round, check the school, open the blinds first of all, because particularly in the summertime, there wasn't any need for lighting if we had the blinds open.
We have a lux monitor or light meter to check the light levels to see which lights we can switch off or leave on. We switch off a few lights, don't we?
We're really lucky at Mellors because the school's designed in such a way that we can maximise natural lighting. There are a number of skylights in classrooms and along the corridor areas, which mean that we don't necessarily have to have the lights on. So even in some of the darker weather, we can either have no lighting at all or just have the spotlights on, half of the lighting, just to illuminate it enough for people to be able to work properly.
Our eco team go round every week and monitor the energy use in school.
Firstly, we go round to all the classrooms during lunch times twice a week, and we take note of what classrooms have got teachers in, and if they haven't got teachers in, we mark how many lights are on in the classroom. And then after we've got a database for about a month, we'll create a graph to look for patterns of who's leaving the lights on most. Then we will send them down to the site manager, and the site manager will also look for the patterns and to have a quiet word with the teachers about them.
In the student council, there's some energy detectives. They go around classrooms looking if they've been saving energy or gobbling energy, and then sometimes in assembly we either give out certificates for the energy savers and red cards for the energy gobblers.
By actively labelling the switches and not having the lights on that rooms aren't used, we could save at least £700 a year. We've seen savings of 50% on the lighting already.
I was invited to go along to the SCoRE meeting, and I thought, well, I don't know much about this stuff and I can't see myself making any difference. And we did actually realise that in the kitchen we did have a big impact on this, and that we could do quite a lot to help. But the main focus was on the heated trolleys. We realised that we was using them far too long and reduced the usage by 2 hours a day.
With regard to the IT suite, what we've done is installed a programme that automatically shuts down all the 35 or so computers that the children use at a certain time at 5:30 every evening.
The system we've had in school for quite some time now switches the computers on and off automatically. So what we've actually done is change the on time in the morning from 7 AM to 8 AM. We've saved 1 hour's worth of electricity, and that equates to around 13 kilowatts for that hour, which over the year would actually come out as something around £260. However, the monitors go into standby mode, and so what we're trying to do is to get the students to turn them off at the end of the day in particular, so that they are switched off completely, fully overnight.
After school, when I was coming home from my mates, I saw some lights left on outside the cloakrooms. So then next day when it was school, I went round and told the teacher that it was left on.
The thought of doing an out-of-hours survey, of walking into every single room, looking at every single electrical appliance and making a decision about each one of those, I was a bit daunted by, but we shared that work out, we did it as a team, and I was actually surprised how quick and straightforward it was. It was really easy. So again, it wasn't just asking one person to go around and check, because that's not feasible. It was about all of us taking responsibility for checking that we're switching off appliances when they're not in use.
The kids have took it on really well. I mean, they're very conscious now of what they leave on. Has it been left on? Should I switch it off? The staff are getting there. There's still a little bit to do. Cleaners have been fantastic, and we are getting there. There has been an improvement. I'm doing less as I walk around at night, see less overhead projectors on, things like that. So it has got better.
The out-of-hours survey, if we follow through with it and follow through with the labelling that we've done and switching things off when they're not in use, we estimate that's going to save us nearly £300 a year. Now, £300 is a significant amount of money, and in the current climate, you can't afford to be throwing away £300, and that's in effect what you're doing. If you're leaving on data projectors and lights in empty classrooms, that's throwing money away.
We discovered that we were linked to a smart system for energy recording from our electric meters, and that we could look at that online every day.
I've used AMR as a whole class discussion on data handling, part of the curriculum, so we could present real data to the children to analyse.
Each graph is showing how much electricity we use every half an hour in kilowatt hours. On an average day, the electricity usage lowers at 1 p.m. when everybody's outside and playing and the cooks have finished cooking.
We're heavily involved in using our data to calculate our carbon emissions as well as obviously kilowatt hours and try and reduce that, but we're going to compare that directly with the energy usage of our school in Pakistan and work out if there's a carbon debt to be paid.
Some lucky teachers have the kettle. But in the morning you wouldn't want lights.
Or you might do.
You might do if it's winter.
No, Mr. Brown, you would.
It's been such a real project with real things happening on that the children can actually get involved in. It really empowered them and given them a real insight into the issues facing the world today.
We worked out how much money we could save just by turning lights off and turning electricity off out of hours.
From our AMR graph, we know we've saved an awful lot of electricity, possibly enough to equate to £2,200 worth of savings. Financially, that's great in this economic climate, but more importantly, perhaps, is the 13 tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions that we're hoping to have saved, and that's great for us reducing our carbon footprint.
When we talk about the heating issues, I think the way to get savings is education of the staff, that the room is warm enough. Look at your thermometers. That's a set temperature. That's the way we're going to go forward with saving money with energy and the heating.
Our caretaker has trained the office manager and myself to have a look at the heating in the school. He's taken us into the boiler room so that we can have a look at to turn it down if the temperature gets too high. We've got children on board as well, and everybody's really enthusiastic about it. And in each classroom there's a thermometer, and 3 times in the day the children take the temperature when they first come in the morning, at lunch, after break, and at lunchtime to see what the temperature is, if the temperature needs to be lowered.
If it's 18 degrees, it's just right, and if it's over 18 degrees, we're wasting energy. I should tell our caretaker about it to turn it down.
We're not having the heating on as often, but we're having it on at critical times of day to make sure that everybody's warm enough and we haven't got the problems of overheating and windows open to let heat out.
We believe that by following work such as reducing our heating by 3 degrees and by working with our light programme of switching off unused lights, removing unrequired lights, and encouraging a really quick close down at the end of the day of all the systems that we can, then over a financial year we're aiming to make a saving of something in the order of £20,000.
Some of us save energy to save money and others save energy to help the environment. But actually, so long as we're doing it, it doesn't really matter what drives us, the results are always positive. All Nottingham City pilot schools have made some tremendous savings over the past 3 months or so. Several schools have received a heating consultation during which their heating system settings were altered, and 2 of these schools have saved a total of £500 off their annual gas bill compared to what they would have spent had they not taken control of their heating. Also, and perhaps more impressively, from implementing simple behavioural changes across school, all schools have saved between 10 and 30% off their annual electricity bills compared to last year. And based on financial savings made so far, if our 12 pilot schools keep up their energy saving efforts, they could save a combined total of about 200,000 kilowatt hours and almost £20,000 off their electricity bills every year from now on. This could equate to a huge 121 tonnes of carbon dioxide emissions. There's a wonderful opportunity for reinvesting these huge savings into teaching assistants, school books and school trips, and the associated environmental benefits could be even greater.
Running a school efficiently, not wasting money on unnecessary energy costs, is a really important part of our work. And what the SCoRE project did, I think, was it gave us a structure to tackle what would have felt a bit too much.
I would recommend it to other schools. It's a team effort at school, and if a kitchen can get involved, then it's good for everybody. If everyone does the little, makes little changes, they all add up to big, and it's saving money for your school and obviously helping out to save the environment as well.
I'd certainly recommend this to other schools, because if you think about it, what we're doing here, we're actually saving money. And I've talked to the children in assembly and I've said, look, any money we can save on energy, we can spend on other things. So that's going to be important for you. You're going to get payback.
We also feel that having done this piece of work, we know our building better. So we're able to work more effectively with contractors to make sure that we're matching work that needs to be done with the needs of the school building. It's also informed the children, and I think a lot of the children are going home and talking about it at home. We did have a story of one child who turned the fridge off.
I've been really pleased that I think what we take from it is that the children talk about carbon dioxide emissions. They talk about it in terms of environmental issues. So I think it's just been an all-encompassing project that's made things very real for the children.
Every bit of money that we waste on energy, we could be spending on resources for students in the school.
It's been very easy to engage children in this. They've been incredibly motivated. I think we have made changes for those children for the rest of their lives, and then subsequently they will be better citizens. They will look after the planet themselves. We've obviously saved money, but as a whole school activity, for something that we were all involved in and all motivated by, it has been a fantastic process and project.